Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nightly Scroll. I'm Hayley Caronia. Thank you for joining me this evening, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to join us live in the chat and you want to scroll with all my homies, rumble.com/Hayley is the place to do that. That'll bring you to the Bongino Report channel. Of course, you follow there, subscribe, make sure that you never miss a show. Because even if you can't catch us at 6 p.m., that's okay. You can watch it whenever you want, or you can listen on your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your shows. I am grateful for you to be here and listen whenever or wherever you can. So thank you for being here. I do have a intense show for you tonight. We've got Gavin Newsom. We've got all these things. Democrats floundering. CNN is even admitting it. MSDNC is getting a weird rebrand. It's all a failure. And Newsom seems to be the front runner for the Democrats in 2028. They're banking on the fact that he's good looking. That is all they've got. All of this losing is driving them to drink, apparently, according to a new poll. We're going to get into that. And then President Trump is cracking down on mail-in voting. Denzel Washington isn't subscribing to cancel culture, and people are still falling in love with AI chatbots. All that and so much more on this episode of Nightly Scroll. Justin just threw out a question to the chat. Is Newsom objectively handsome? Yes, I agree. People post a lot that meme of the side-by-side of him and Beavis and Butthead, and they think that he looks like that. I don't think that he really looks like that. I think that he's objectively a handsome dude. He just is. I'm sorry. People don't want to admit it, I guess, because he's a Democrat. Like, he's good looking. And we're going to get into that in just a moment. But first, we have to get to CNN. And they're kind of admitting that the Democrats are floundering. They really don't have a front runner. The brand is in the basement. Watch this.
Democrats at this point are historically divided. It is a complete and utter mess. It is messier than a hoarder's basement. What are we talking about here? The national early poll leader, 25% plus. Normally, that's where Democrats are. Biden was at 25% plus in 2020. Hillary Clinton was in 08 and 16. Gore was in 00 and 04. At this particular point, there is no one in the Democratic race for president who's polling at 25% plus. The water is quite warm. If you're a Democrat potentially thinking about running in 2028, jump right in, because at this point, there is no front runner.
What do you think? Is that because how people view the Democratic Party right now, is that contributing to this?
Yeah, I think that is in large part of what's going on, is one of the reasons why there is no front runner. Nobody wants to put anybody up at the top of their ballot list, is because at this particular point, the Democratic brand is in the basement. It is total and complete garbage in the mind of the American public. The Democratic Party's net favorable rating, record lows in all three. Wall Street Journal, 30 points underwater. CNN, 26 points underwater. Gallup, 26 points underwater. And that is being driven in large part by discontent within the Democratic base. The Democratic base wants something different. We'll ultimately end up seeing who they choose. It'll be quite the thing who ultimately gets the rose.
Yes, sir.
Which is interesting, because they're admitting that the Democrat Party needs to do something different. But I think that putting up Gavin Newsom wouldn't really be doing anything different other than the fact that he's a dude. And the Democrats have been putting up Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris, and that hasn't worked for them. So, but in terms of politics, like, Gavin Newsom isn't really like trying something new.
He is not, but like, one of the things that he can do is the gift of gab.
Yeah.
And those other people did not know up, down, left, or right on a stage in a debate. And it was a dumpster fire. Like or hate whatever Gavin Newsom, he will give you energy back at the same pace that you give it. And like, I mean, that is everything when it comes to the difference in what they have ran and the opportunity that he has.
I would argue that Kamala had the gift of gab, but it just wasn't good.
A drunken one.
She would definitely gab, but it seemed like she had maybe like a shot or 2 or 3 or 7 of vodka.
Did you say that she had gab, but it wasn't a gift? Is that what you
it wasn't
said?
A gift. She had gab. It wasn't a gift. You know, but the only things that the Democrat Party stands for now are abortion. They don't even really talk about abortion anymore. Illegal immigration, everything should be free, and we hate Trump. That's really it. they're not even really putting abortion and women's reproductive health as, their Mount Rushmore of policies. I would say, they'll probably kick that back into gear when they start getting into the midterms and the presidential election in 2028. But abortion was like a huge topic in 2022 and when Roe versus Wade was overturned. But illegal immigration, socialist stuff, and we hate Trump is really all that they have right now. But I would argue that Gavin Newsom is the only front runner that they have. Senator Bernie Sanders has said that he would not run again, and I do not blame him. The Democrats, the DNC, they totally shafted Bernie in the past. I do not blame him for sitting this one out. His reasoning for this was, we're going to let some of the newer blood, take it. Like I'm not going to put my hat in the ring. I'm going to let these younger candidates, take this and run with it. Again, don't blame him. They did him really dirty. The Amy Klobuchars, the Senator Elizabeth Warrens, they've run for president before. I don't think they have a shot in hell. And then the AOCs, the Jasmine Crockett's, the other, firebrands that are in the squad, they don't scream presidential candidate to me, at least. At best, I think they would be a vice presidential pick for Gavin Newsom to offset his maleness and his whiteness, which of course is a big no-no if you're a Democrat these days. So I think that Gavin Newsom is going to be the guy. Also, Gavin is certainly setting himself up to run. We saw him campaigning in South Carolina. Like, this was a few months ago. What are you doing campaigning in South Carolina when you're the governor of California, right? So he's obviously setting himself up for the future. He will no longer be governor come 2028. So what is he going to do next? I mean, he's young. Can you look up how old Gavin Newsom is? But, he's young. He's got a long political career ahead of him. So gearing up to run for president, to me, makes sense. He's 57. So, he's a lot younger than our recent presidents. And I think that is the move that the Democrat Party needs to go in. It's also the move that the Republican Party needs to go in. I think people are kind of done seeing our candidates like die or get sick. It's just not where people want to see leadership. I think a lot of people are sick and tired. We want term limits. We don't want people dying in office. We don't want people womb to tombing this public service. I mean, they're not public servants. It's a scam. They're making all this money. They're becoming bajillionaires when they're supposed to be working for us. So this whole valiant, virtuous, I'm working for you, people are kind of realizing that that's a scam. So I think people want newer candidates, younger candidates, fresher faces, and not that Gavin Newsom's a fresher face, but he's certainly younger, and he has the political resume. And according to Olivia Giuliana, do you remember Olivia Giuliana? She is the Democrat strategist that they hired to get more Gen Z men to vote Democrat. But she's not the most gorgeous woman, so everyone was making fun of her. Well, according to Olivia Giuliana, Gavin Newsom has a superpower, and that is his attractiveness. So watch this.
People who watched the presidential debate between JFK and Richard Nixon preferred JFK, but people who listened to it on the radio preferred Richard Nixon. The Republicans who are trying to go after Gavin Newsom have this one fatal flaw they don't seem to understand. Gavin Newsom is hot, and he is tall and charming, and he has fantastic hair. So this strategy Republicans do where they just spam videos of people, try to make you look crazy and bad or whatever, it's not going to work, because I guarantee you, the more people see of Gavin Newsom, the more that they like him. And by y'all amplifying him, what you're going to end up doing is you're going to make swing voters and independent voters like him more, because he's throwing punches at y'all, and he looks damn good while he's doing it. So y'all can continue on baiting him and pushing him into doing this redistricting shit in California, but you're going to fuck around and make him the next president of the United States.
So I agree that I think being good looking and well spoken, it's not necessarily going to seal the deal for you and make you the president of the United States, but it's definitely helpful in politics. I think being better looking than the candidate that you're running against can't hurt. So Gavin Newsom, he has that. He's 57 years old. He's handsome. And I guess that's what they're going with, because he doesn't really have much else to go at. I mean, if you look at his record in California, California's not looking so good. We're going to get into that in just a second. But it looks like Democrats online are gearing up for this Gavin Newsom versus JD Vance potential matchup in 2028. So now Gavin Newsom is on X, and he's kind of like having fun with this. So we can put this up, this post. Gavin Newsom in high school versus JD Vance in high school. So they have a picture of Gavin Newsom, and he's, very suave. He's got his well-dressed. He's got the button-down shirt on. He's got a suit jacket on. He's got this Burberry scarf on. He's looking down at a newspaper. He's reading a newspaper. So he looks very well-to-do. And you contrast that with JD Vance on the right. And, we all know JD Vance's story. It's the rags to riches story. He didn't have a Burberry scarf around his neck. I mean, he grew up poor with a drug-addicted mom, and he was raised by his grandmother. He was poor. So yeah, if you take a picture of Gavin Newsom in high school and then JD Vance in high school, they are going to look very different. To me, that's not a winning strategy because JD Vance has the story that's relatable. Gavin Newsom looks like an elitist snob. And he is. He's a Nepo baby. His parents set him up for success. Didn't his parents give him like the winery? He started the wineries in California. I mean, he is the definition of a Nepo baby born with a silver spoon in his mouth. So I don't know why Democrats keep putting up these candidates. It's like you have Gavin Newsom, who's a Nepo baby, Zohran Mamdani, who's also a Nepo baby, pretending that they're, men of the people. It's just very phony. So we could put up this other post making fun of this, 2028 potential matchup between Gavin Newsom and Vice President Vance. And there's, again, a photo of Gavin Newsom, very handsome. This is like his baseball photo. He looks very good. He's tanned. He's got the hair. He looks good. And it says Chad Newsom with a greater than sign, Chud Vance. So Chad versus Chud, whatever. I guess they're trying to say that, a Chad is like handsome and a Chud is not. And, this is JD Vance's maybe a high school yearbook photo. Is he the most handsome man I've ever seen? No. But, to make this comparison is just very childish. I don't think that the American voters are really going to have this JFK versus Richard Nixon moment like Olivia Giuliana was saying, because everyone already knows what these people look like. So you can drudge up pictures from high school yearbook photos, but I just don't think that that's going to be very effective because as we saw in the 2024 election, when you don't have substantive policy to run on, you are going to fail. With Kamala Harris, they had these. And right, great point. So let's
give some love to the late bloomers, y'all.
Yes.
What about the late bloomers? Can we not give some love to the late bloomers?
Exactly. So, if you drudge up these ugly high school photos, sure, but JD Vance in 2025 versus Gavin Newsom in 2025, they're both handsome. They're both handsome. So
yeah,
I don't know. You could say that he had like an ugly yearbook photo in high school, but that just doesn't matter. And to my point that I'm trying to make is that you have to have policy. You can't bank on good looks or funny memes on social media because we saw that fail with Kamala Harris. She had absolutely nothing to run on. They tried to make fetch happen on TikTok and on social media. And now they're trying to do the same thing with Gavin Newsom. Watch this. So this is a Lana Del Rey song, and they're putting it to all these videos of Gavin Newsom, trying to make this like a romanticized, glamorized video showing, the very handsome Gavin Newsom. Will this work for people? I don't know. I would be careful because the TikTok edits didn't work for Kamala Harris. You can try to make someone look cool on social media, but if you don't have the campaign to back it up, you are screwed. But they are even making the case that Gavin Newsom's wife would make a better first lady than Melania because she has, get this, great genes. Watch this.
Jennifer Siebel Newsom gives me first lady vibes. That's a first lady. That's what a first lady is supposed to look like. That is what a first lady's hair is supposed to look like. Eyes, features. I think that we have gotten a little bit too woke in this country by allowing our president to have a migrant wife. I believe she was a prostitute at one point, a sex worker, excuse me, I don't know the language, but that's a little too woke for me. I prefer blue-blooded, white, real white, not Eastern European, unclear women to be in the White House. Just my opinion. I think we've gotten a little too woke in this country, and we've allowed a little bit too much to slide in that Oval Office. I don't know what, Backpage or Craigslist ads have been set up or what's going on over there. Melania's background is very unclear and distasteful. Jennifer, on the other hand, is a philanthropist. And she just has really good genes. So she has my vote. I just feel like that's what a first lady is supposed to represent. And she's actually American. So I don't know. I just feel like if ICE can go after everybody, at least we should have an American first lady.
How the tables have turned in just 2 weeks' time. It was racist, fascist eugenics when Sydney Sweeney had good genes and she was blonde with blue eyes. But Jennifer Newsom, she is the good kind of blonde and blue eyes because she's a Democrat. That's the switcheroo that they did there. But anyway, what does Gavin Newsom stand for? What is his legacy in California? He touts the fourth largest economy in the world, but then he has to borrow billions of dollars because he can't afford to pay all of the illegal immigrants the free health care that he promised them. There are homeless people defecating and shooting up on the streets, living in tent cities. And he claims he's in charge of this great economy, but then he can only fix it up when the Chinese president is in town or the Super Bowl is coming or the Olympics are coming. So what does he actually stand for? Because he really can't stand for any good policies. All he stands for is, I'm not Trump. Orange man bad. I'm going to take on J.D. Vance because he's connected to Orange Man. So Gavin Newsom's press office has been trolling President Trump by tweeting in the style of his Truth Social post. So if we could pull up this example here. Gavin Newsom's press office tweeted, Donald Tiny Hands has written his autobiography this morning. Unfortunately, low IQ. He spelled it wrong. Beta. Soon you will be fired, Beta, because of my beautiful maps. Thank you for your attention to this matter, GCN. Obviously making fun of the fact that President Trump writes his Truth Social posts in this style, all caps, calling people's names, thank you for your attention to this matter, and then the sign off DJT. So they're obviously poking fun. Now, I will say a lot of conservatives, talking heads on, right-wing media are making fun of Gavin Newsom for this, saying that he's being immature, this makes him look unhinged. But obviously this is not Gavin Newsom tweeting, this is his staff, and they are posting how President Trump does. So if you're saying that Gavin Newsom is on some unhinged lunatic, well, what are you really saying? So I think it's amusing. I wouldn't call it funny because I think Democrats have totally lost their sense of humor a long time ago. And all they know how to do now is hate Trump. So it tracks. But I want to get into James Comey, because James Comey is warning Gavin Newsom in a very strange video on Substack that he shouldn't tweet like Trump. And Taylor Swift helped him realize that. Listen.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to my Substack. Last week's cold turns out to have been COVID. Quite a flashback. And Donald Trump is still president and still humiliating America on a national stage, standing next to Vladimir Putin. It's like a dream, a bad dream you can't wake up from. But I don't want to talk about that bad dream this week. I want to talk about a truly inspirational public figure named Taylor Swift. Of course, I watched her podcast interview with the Kelsey brothers. Of course, I watched the whole thing, although on YouTube, Patrice and I got kicked off for the last 15 minutes and finished it on her phone. But I watched it.
Like, why does anyone care about this?
You see, Taylor Swift and I go way back. I went to my first concert of hers 15 years ago.
We go way back.
I've been to a second, and I have helped financially support the attendance of a lot of family members at others. I'm in a family's Swiftie group chat. Like a lot of you, I struggle with how to stand up to bullies without letting their meanness infect me and change me. You may have seen that the governor of California has been generating a lot of attention lately by posting on social media in a satirical way where he mocks Donald Trump and his all caps megalomania and his absurdity. And I find it very funny, hilarious even sometimes. But I gotta be honest, it also leaves me with a strange feeling at times because I don't want us to become like Trump and his followers.
Well, you're nowhere near becoming like Trump or his followers because you're a freak. You're a freak of nature. You're calling for the death of the current president of the United States, 8647 in a seashell formation on social media. And now you're talking about how you're best buds with Taylor Swift and you've financially, what did he say? He said he's like financially supporting his family to go to her
the
concerts.
ability for other people to go to her concerts. Tay-Tay.
Again, why do we care about this? It's just so odd. So anyway, Gavin Newsom trying to rebrand into this, Trump hater, this memer, this sex symbol, man of the people. It is not the only failed Democrat rebrand of the week, I would say. So MSNBC is now MS Now. They're rebranding. This is going to take place at the end of the year. MS Now, this is their new logo, which is totally whack in my opinion. It's just not creative. The font underneath, well, the logo is kind of similar to the Silverlock logo with the flag. And it's kind of America vibes for a company that does not like America. And they think that, democracy is, very fragile and Trump is ruining it and all that stuff. So I think that it's an odd logo for them. MS Now, we're going to get into that in just a moment. But the font, My Source, News Opinion World, it's a very, I don't know, I just don't like it. It's very 2D. It's very boring.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It feels like somebody just made this on an airplane in Canva. And just like phoned it in. Oh, forgot this was due in 5 minutes. The next corporate logo. Here we go.
Yeah, I don't like it. So MSNBC was originally a joint venture between NBC and Microsoft. So MS stands for Microsoft. And Microsoft divested in 2005. And then it was completely out of the whole company and website by 2012. So they kept the MSNBC after that, and now there's a new merger taking place. So MS no longer stands for Microsoft, it stands for My Source. And then NOW stands for News, Opinion, and World, those words underneath, kind of like the sub-headline. Maybe they decided to keep the MS because of the familiarity of it all. Like, it's hard to drop the MS and the NBC and become something totally different. So maybe they just wanted something familiar so that MSNBC is going to be MSNOW. I don't know. Here's what they said in the statement. You might be wondering why this change is happening. As part of our move to a new media company, Versant, which includes CNBC, Golf Channel, Golf Now, and Sports Engine, will no longer be part of NBC Universal and NBC News. This gives us the freedom to chart our own path forward, and we're excited about where it's headed. Where it's headed? Probably as liberal as ever to lie on behalf of the Democrats as usual. MSNBC was more opinion than news anyway, in my opinion. And they did mention in this statement that all of the MSNBC talent is staying. They are moving on. MSNBC is staying the way it is. They're, the Rachel Maddows, the Jen Psaki's of the world, they're going to be at MS Now. And they're hiring more than 100 staffers. But I was looking up for some online reaction, and we could pull up this Reddit thread here because people were kind of reacting to what people were saying. And someone mentioned that it looks like someone built this the night before the project was due. To Andy's point, that it's very, I don't know, last minute, lazy. Someone said multiple sclerosis is the first thing that I think of when you see MS, which maybe. I could see that. I think if you're going to go with a rebrand, you should have just totally rebrand it all together. I wouldn't trust a news source with this aesthetic. Interesting. And people are not liking it for the most part. And I don't blame them. I think it's a really weird move. I think if they were going to, Microsoft divested more than a decade ago. So I think you should just get rid of MS. And if you have to get rid of MSNBC, you might as well make something totally new.
What are you doing if you don't get rid of any talent and rebrand the actual nuts and bolts of the programming? Like, if you don't get rid of the personalities, what are you doing in changing the logo?
They're doing it because of the new merger. So they're going to be under this new company, Versant, and now Microsoft hasn't been involved in over a decade. NBC is not going to be involved, so it can't really be called MSNBC. It's not part of NBC. So they have to drop the NBC. I'm just wondering why they kept the MS and kind of rebranded the MS from Microsoft to My Source.
This just feels like a really good chance for them to completely cut what's bad, right? I mean, you're seeing CBS cut Colbert because the show's not doing good.
Not working.
Period. So like, this would be a great time for whoever owns or whoever's operationally an executive in this merger, cut the stuff that's bad and do it now. I don't know. It does not compute for me. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think nothing's going to happen. I think the logo's going to change and the content's going to be just as cringe and horrible and false. So I guess we'll see. And there's more to come on the Democrats' failing brand and how it is driving them to drink. But first, I'm going to tell you about Helix. I have a pretty hectic schedule after my long, busy day, and sometimes we tape multiple shows in one day. I don't know if you know that, but there is nothing I look forward to more than coming home after a long day and sleeping on my Helix mattress. The comfort and support are unbelievable. I wake up feeling truly rested. No more tossing and turning. No more waking up in the middle of the night. Just deep, uninterrupted sleep every time. Helix Sleep is an award-winning mattress brand, and it's easy to see why. So whether you're dealing with back pain, snoring, or whether you sleep too hot, Helix has a mattress tailored just for you. With their advanced sleep quiz, they match you with the perfect mattress for your unique sleep style, helping you wake up feel refreshed and ready to take on the day. And right now, Helix has an exclusive offer for the homies, 27% off site-wide. That is right. Just visit helixsleep.com/Hayley for 27% off site-wide, exclusive for the homies. So once again, that is helixsleep.com/Hayley. Okay, so let's talk about what is driving these Democrats to drink. We're going to get to the poll that says that they're drinking a lot more than Republicans in just a moment. But let's talk about illegal immigration, because this is one of the things that they keep pushing. This is one of the tent poles of their policy, of their campaigns. This is what they are proud of, which is shocking because it's not something to be proud of. But an illegal immigrant, he was given a driver's license by Gavin Newsom's California. He attempted to make an illegal U-turn through an official use only access point in St. Lucie County, so not far from where we are right here at Silverlock. And he blocked all the lanes of highway with this truck. And he caused the deaths of 3 innocent people. It was a family in Florida. So just horrible. He was arrested on 3 counts of vehicular homicide. So let's show this video in case you haven't seen it. It's gone totally viral, so I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, but we could play the video of this. Here's this guy. He's not alone in the vehicle. He is driving. He's got someone in the passenger seat. Don't know his documentation status, but he decided to make an illegal U-turn, so his entire 18-wheeler was blocking the whole road, and a car smashed into it. Horrible. 3 innocent people. So this is a statement put out by Assistant Secretary of DHS, Tricia McLaughlin. She said, 3 innocent people were killed in Florida because Gavin Newsom's California Department of Motor Vehicles issued an illegal immigrant a commercial driver's license. This state of governance is asinine. How many more people must die before Gavin Newsom stops playing games with the safety of the American public? We pray for the victims and their families. Secretary Noem and DHS are working around the clock to protect the public and get these criminal aliens out of America. It is crazy to think that this guy was given a commercial driver's license in California, obviously, if you are a truck driver, you drive all over the place. So, I never really thought about this. I know that the Transportation Secretary Duffy put out that you have to be able to speak English. And at certain truck stops, they're going to ask you, are you fluent in or proficient in English? Because you have to be able to read the signs. You have to be able to read where you're going, what the rules of the law and the road are. You can't be speaking another language and expect to follow the law. I mean, how can you be expected to do that? So I thought about the truck drivers in that sense where, it's dangerous to have illegal immigrants on the road because if they can't speak English, how can they drive safely, right? But I didn't think about how dangerous it is that these illegal immigrants can come into sanctuary states, they can get their driver's licenses, they can get commercial driver's licenses, and then they're in a red state that doesn't allow this kind of stuff. And they can kill innocent people. And, people move to red states. They move out of sanctuary states and cities to get away from this kind of stuff. Then it's like you move here and, Gavin Newsom's California can say, here you go. Here's your commercial driver's license. You can get out on the road and see you later. And then they can pull something like this. And I will say something so deeply disturbing about this video, aside from the fact that 3 innocent people's lives were lost. He showed no remorse. If you watch that video, and you could play it again, but he doesn't look shocked that this car rammed into him. I mean, the other guy in the passenger seat looked a little shaken up, like physically shaking from the hit, but this guy just has no care in the world. If you look at him, like he's just looking and he's like, all right, put the car in park. I mean, he doesn't even look like he cares, in my opinion. Totally disgusting. Just gross. Like, what an evil, evil person.
We just looked at this. We could have a concealed carry license legal in the state of Florida, Tennessee, lots of states of reciprocity, but not in California. We couldn't take that gun to California. But this joker can get a CDL as an illegal in California and make a happy journey across the country and have this happen in Florida. It's just, man, these laws have to be better and stricter.
I totally agree. So if I was a Democrat, all of this would drive me to drink. And a new poll suggests just that. Because, we talk about all these failed policies, failed politicians and all that. This is a Gallup poll that was done recently, so we could pull this up. And apparently, if you could scroll down here, because they did this by gender, race and ethnicity, age, annual household income, party identification. So they did a poll about how really, in all, Americans are drinking less. And they are. Republicans, independents, and Democrats are drinking less. But Democrats are drinking a lot more than independents and Republicans. So although it is down across the board, so Republicans... what was the original year there? Can you scroll back at the top just so we could see what okay, so this is between 2023 and 2025. And I think a lot of people were abusing alcohol during COVID because people weren't working. They were stuck in their houses, doing whatever. So I think a lot of people use that as an opportunity to drink a bottle of wine or whatever. And I don't think that that's a good thing. But people have been now cutting back on that. A lot of, especially Gen Z, younger demographics and generations are just not drinking as much. We're not going out as much. Maybe that has to do with the economy. Maybe people can't afford to go out as much as millennials did and Gen X did and boomers did. So I can understand that. But I also think it's interesting that Republicans are drinking the least. Some people online were saying, well, this is because they're more religious, they're more conservative. But back in 2023, they were drinking the most. So back in 2023, 65% of Republicans were drinking alcohol. Independents, 61%, Democrats, 64%. So Republicans were drinking the most out of everyone, but they have had the most dramatic shift to not drinking. And so you can't say that it's because they're religious or conservative or they don't believe in alcohol, because they did 2 years ago. But now I think it has to do with the MAHA movement, because in 2025, 46% of Republicans drink alcohol, 55% of independents, and 61% of Democrats. So from 2023 to 2025, Democrats really haven't made that much of a difference. They're down 3%. Republicans are down 19%. That's a lot. That is a lot. That's a huge difference. And I do think
you
that
think it's all Maha. There's a lot of buy-in with that. I mean, but there's also a lot more data, and I think too culturally, like, it isn't cheap to go to a bar and have unless you're getting Pabst Blue Ribbon at the gas station, like, and drink it alone, which, you know, I know some people, but like, it's expensive to go to a bar and socialize with 8 or 9 people and buy 5 drinks.
Yeah, it totally is. But I think, 19%, I don't think it's just the economy, because it's not like Republicans are the only ones affected by the economy. Everyone is. So if it was just the economy, I think you'd see a bigger difference in the Democrats and independents. But I think if this is just specifically targeting Republicans, and Republicans are drinking so much less and Democrats are drinking so much more than Republicans, some people are saying that, all of these Democrat failures, they're very miserable. They have this misery loves company attitude where they think the world's going to end, and they believe that we're under this fascist regime and we're living under a dictator and everything sucks and everything's horrible. So maybe that would force them to drink more than Republicans. But I do think that this is the Maha movement working, and people are really realizing this is poison. We're also realizing not just alcohol, but everything that we put in our bodies. I'm reading ingredient labels like I never have before. And it's everything that you put on your skin. My makeup, I'm trying to use all makeup products that are non-comedogenic, non-pore clogging, non-toxic. People are now really realizing I shouldn't be spraying this toxic stuff when I wipe down my countertops. I should use something more natural. Or if I'm using perfume, I should use something natural with essential oils, not so much of this endocrine disrupting content.
I think it's all a movement toward better awareness.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? And then, probably some inspiration by all you ladies carrying around 7-gallon buckets of water all day instead of alcohol, carrying around trash cans, Rubbermaid trash cans full of water in a.
Well, who said this isn't vodka? The world may never know. No, but my drinking habits really haven't changed. I obviously drank more in college and right out after college. Now I'm just getting older, so I'm not going out as often. I'm not going to bars with my friends. It's just like the stage of life that I'm in. So I think that that's interesting too. But even younger people are not drinking as much anymore. So I do think it's people just trending more to like a healthier lifestyle. So I'm into it. All right. President Trump, he is leading a movement to get rid of mail-in ballots. So we could put up this. He posted this on Truth Social earlier today, saying that while we're at it, highly inaccurate, very expensive, seriously controversial voting machines, which cost 10 times more than accurate sophisticated watermark paper, which is faster, leaves no doubt at the end of the evening as to who won and who lost the election. We are now the only country in the world that uses mail-in voting. Others gave it up because of the massive voter fraud encountered. We will begin this effort, which will be strongly opposed by the Democrats because they cheat at levels never seen before, by signing an executive order to help bring honesty to the 2026 midterm elections. I am all for getting rid of mail-in voting and just doing in-person voting. I like it. Go to the polls on your lunch break, before work, after work. A lot of people, if you work for the government or you work in schools or whatever, you get election day off. And if you need to get an absentee ballot for whatever reason, if you're disabled or you're serving in the military overseas or whatever, you can ask for an absentee ballot and request that, apply for one in advance. Democrats will say, oh no, this group of people, they're just so stupid and helpless. They'll never be able to figure out how to get to their polling place. Or, they'll claim that this is some Republican power grab. It's a threat to democracy. They're taking away the rights of women to vote. They're taking away the rights of black people to vote, people who don't have cars. This is an attack on people who are impoverished. It's all a load of crap. I can walk to my voting location. Everywhere I've ever lived, I was able to walk to my voting location. That's how close they are.
Probably not now. You're going to have to drive.
No. I live
Really?
very close to it's actually your church is my voting location.
Right. So let me ask you.
I will drive because I have a car, but if I didn't, I could get there.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think National Day off, like a Labor Day off to vote, makes sense?
I think
I've
so.
seen that ping pong around, and I mean, I think this is a great idea. Like, give people, don't give them an excuse. You have the day off.
I mean, certain people, like, we will always be working on, we don't get off. A lot of other people who work in different industries won't get off, and that's fine. But yeah, I think, National Election Day as a day off, I think is good. The more people that can be off from work and can get to a polling location, the better. So I say do it, and I like it. I mean, the Democrats will fight this at every turn because they're TDS deranged, but I think it's a load of crap, and I think everyone should be able to get to a polling location, and this should not be a problem. I don't think this should be controversial at all. I have always voted in person. It's easy. I bring my ID. Not when I lived in New York, though. You could just roll up and say, "Hey, my name is Joe Schmo," and they'd let you in. Yeah.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I walked in and I just said, "Hey, my name's Hayley Caronia," and they would check my name off and say, "Okay, go." But anyone could have come in and said, "Hi, my name's Hayley Caronia," and go vote for, Joe Biden. That is the level of security that was there. None. Next to nothing. So then I moved to Tennessee, and it was, "Where's your ID?" "Here it is." And they said, "Okay, no problem." They had that to verify. And I haven't voted in Florida, but same deal. Yeah. I think it's a problem because you could show up, and there were many, many accounts of this where people said I showed up and someone already voted under my name. This is why voter ID is important.
That's absolutely.
Why
that's
not
crazy.
verify who's voting is the person showing up?
Everyone has an ID. Let's get past this
ID.
argument. It is a moot point. You're
Yeah.
not convincing anyone. It just takes oxygen out of the atmosphere when people talk like that. Everybody has an ID. So use it, show up in person. Let's get the day off.
Yeah.
And let's get this done.
Agreed. I'm all for it. So hopefully can he just do that in executive order? Or I guess it's got to be
How many people, how many pride holidays have just been decided? Months and months and months of this and that and whatever days. It's National Something Day every day. Have a National Election Day and give the people off, and let's make this voter in person thing happen.
Agreed. All right. Should we get to Okay, we'll do one more story. I'm going to save the AI chat stuff for tomorrow, and we'll get into some scrolling time. So, all right. Denzel Washington, he does not subscribe to cancel culture. I absolutely love this story. He did an interview with Complex Magazine, and this is the headline: Denzel Washington not bothered about being canceled. Who cares? And as someone, I started a trend on TikTok and a playlist called Cancel Culture is Officially Canceled. I need to trademark it. Cancel culture is officially canceled. People, you can't get canceled if you don't care. So this is the perfect example of if someone even tried to cancel Denzel Washington for something, he's not even paying attention. If you don't care what people are saying about you on social media, doesn't matter. I mean, I think if you care about influencers and followers on social media, and maybe if followers on social media, maybe if you're an influencer and that's the only thing that you're making money with, then I guess that would matter. But if you're doing something that matters with your life and you're not just a social media influencer, then who cares what people are saying about you online? Half the time, all press is good press anyway.
I just in here saying this suggestion, Hollywood and the record industry and all, it's such a mind hive that if this would have happened 2 years ago, it would have been a completely different landscape. Because you watch and see, he's Denzel. He don't care. He don't care at all. Mel Gibson, he don't care. He don't care at all. And so hopefully some of these young actors who feel like, oh man, I've got to, toe the line with some of this stuff can see this, and the people that have really made iconic movies.
I wonder if it's people who are so established in their careers, they've made their money, they're not getting a lot of roles anymore. They feel like, well, fine, at this point, I don't need the money, I don't care, I can do it. I think you'd be hard pressed to find someone just starting out in their career that's not just going to like do whatever they're told to do.
Yeah, but the courage comes from seeing these people not care. Woody Harrelson's another one, just don't care. And so like you're starting.
But how many roles are they getting now?
Well, Denzel,
so maybe
Denzel could get what he wants.
Right.
I mean, Mel Gibson can direct whatever he wants. And so like, I mean, these people are maybe a little bit more strategic on what they're choosing, or they're making less movies a year or whatever. But all I'm saying is like, I'm glad to see a top tier of star.
Totally agree with you.
Music and movies.
Mel Gibson, though, I think he's dipped his toe almost, I think, too deep into the conservative culture, where I think a lot of people in Hollywood, although he's an amazing director, I don't know if people are willing to work with him as much anymore. I don't know, but
yeah, no, I mean, that's probably
Denzel
true.
Washington, all he said, and I'll get into all the comments that he made, but he's saying that he doesn't care about cancel culture because all he does is follow God. So not that this is like politically conservative, but he's talking about his faith, which I think is wonderful. So this is what he said. The reporter asked him if he considers the idea of being canceled, and Denzel said, "What does that mean to be canceled? Who cares? What made public support so important to begin with?" And the reporter then asked him, social media followers are now a source of currency. And he said, "I don't care who's following who." And then he also said, "You can't lead and follow at the same time. You can't follow and lead at the same time. I don't follow anybody. I follow the heavenly spirit. I follow God. I don't follow man. I have faith in God. I have hope in man. But look around. It ain't working out so well."
Good for him. And
good for him.
All I'm hoping is that like some of these people, some of these iconic people can set a standard, and a younger generation behind them don't have to deal with that crap. Like, what's stupid is stupid, and you shouldn't have to kiss anybody's ring. Like, make good art and be the best person you can.
Yeah. And
period.
It's wonderful to see someone in Hollywood who is so successful come out and talk about their faith, because Hollywood has become so overwhelmingly demonic, and not only just demonic with imagery and things like that, but people are so willing to just hate on people for being religious. They demonize people for being religious. So I just like that he was cool enough to be, I don't care what people say about me, and I only care what God thinks. And that's really how we should all operate. So very cool to see that. Let's get into some scrolling time. Alrighty. Scrolling time. This is a crazy Karen video. She confronts a dog owner, and yes, this is outside of Portland, Oregon. If anyone's wondering, watch.
That's what you are. You're unethical. You're an unethical piece of shit.
Oh, yeah?
Kills dogs because he has to have his bred dogs.
Me?
Yes. You bought those dogs, didn't you?
No.
You didn't adopt them. You didn't save their lives. You don't care about them. You don't care about anyone but
Dude,
yourself.
You are crazy, lady.
Get away from me then. Get away from me.
You walked up to me.
Go away from me. This guy won't leave me alone. Help me. Help me. This guy won't leave me alone. And he is saying that I said something racist when I absolutely did not.
You did.
Please help me. I did not say anything to this guy.
Who are you talking to?
Help me. Help me, please. Please get this guy away from me.
Justin cut that, and I'm watching this for the first time. I don't even know what to say.
Your reaction. Someone said, "Is this a skit?" I don't know if it's a skit. I pulled this from this woman's Instagram, not the woman screaming, but this woman posted it and said, "The man in the video is my aunt's husband or my aunt's boyfriend or something." So the woman who posted this video isn't even the person who took the video. And Justin cut it shorter, but the video is very long. But she then started filming the dog owner, because once the dog owner started filming, I mean, this is what happens, right? Everyone just starts filming each other so that everyone's got the different POV and everyone can blame someone else for whatever. But I find it, well, first of all, this woman is totally unhinged. I don't know if she's on drugs or alcohol or something. I'm not saying you're crazy if you're walking around in the woods by yourself, but I think if you're a woman walking alone in the woods by yourself and you pick a fight with a man, you're crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't support this in general as just like a blanket statement, but like some people can just use a good tranquilizer in the shoulder. Just a good, smooth trank
Agreed.
in the shoulder, little night.
People in the chat are like, she's bipolar, she's mentally ill. Where do these people come from? Well, they come from Portland, Oregon.
That's why I believe this. The skit thing would really, but like Portland or Seattle, you know, I was in Seattle last year, and this stuff is like, she looked more sober than some of the people on the streets in Seattle, kind of doing this, screaming at bypassers. But like, that's insane.
Totally insane. And the thing about liberals and rabid liberals like this woman is that they think that they are right, and because they believe that they are right, they don't care about anyone's point of view. She doesn't know that this dog wasn't adopted, but she has assumed that this dog, depending on the breed, I don't know what it was some purebred something or other that was got at a breeder, and it wasn't adopted. Okay, first of all, this woman has no idea what the dog's story is or what the dog owner's story is, and quite frankly, it's none of her business. I would say, yeah, I think adopting is wonderful and you should do that. But if you want to get a purebred dog for another reason, some people have allergies, some people have kids and certain breeds or whatever. Here's the thing. Mind your own freaking business. Just mind your own business. If you wouldn't want to get a purebred dog and you want to adopt, go do that in your personal life. But to stop someone in real life and confront them like this does not make you the better person. It does not make you the bigger person. It makes you look like a freak. So she is yelling at this man. It's just totally just weird, wacko behavior.
I will say, like, if there's even a manual on how to react to when some goon approaches you like that, this guy did a great. This guy did a great job. Kudos to whoever that dude is for keeping it cool.
On the contrary, this woman being so rabid and retarded would not make someone want to see her point of view. If you want to teach someone about, you know, the evils of dog breeding or something, I mean, at least do it in a manner that is palatable for someone to listen to you and to hear you out. Who is going to hear this woman out? She's just screaming like a lunatic.
I will say thank you for bringing this episode of wacko to us in nature, because usually you do it in an airplane, and so like it's nice that, like, you know, at least the birds were chirping when wacko was happening.
It's a nice background, nice scenery. I did have an airport video that I didn't play. Maybe I'll play it tomorrow. Did you see the video of the Asian kid that was caught vaping in the bathroom? Okay, so maybe if some people in the chat haven't seen it, I'll play that tomorrow. But just totally, I love the airport crash outs. I think they're funny. All right, this next one, this liberal took to the internet. She was saying that she wanted to find a bag that wouldn't make her look Republican. So here she took to, also, what the hell is on her plate? She's drinking an espresso martini, it looks like. And I don't know what is on her plate, but that looks like some mystery meat or some cabbage or something.
It's like burnt wontons.
She's burnt wontons. She's not eating good. That's for sure. So here's what she said. Where are we getting work totes that don't scream, I'm Republican? Like, what's the Democrat version of the Louis Vuitton Neverfull? Signed, a mom who started working again after having kids. We are cooked. We are absolutely cooked. These people are so Trump deranged, and they believe that we are so politically divided. We are only politically divided because of the left, by the way. I'm willing to be friends with liberals. I don't hate them for being liberals. We agree to disagree. I'm totally fine. But liberals are the ones that are, you know, screaming at people in the woods and all that. So this woman, she's going back to work. She wants to find a work bag that doesn't make her look Republican. And people were kind of trolling her in the comments. This one person said, any bag made by Subaru will work just fine. Obviously, poking fun that liberals drive Subarus. Someone else said Balenciaga is definitely for you because Balenciaga was known to have all those like child, weird, pedophile type photo shoots, which is also very funny. And then someone also said, all work totes look Republican because all Republicans work. And someone else said, trick question, Democrats don't work. But then other people were giving her actual responses for bags that she could carry that would make her look like a Democrat. Someone said a Trader Joe's tote. Someone else said, I use a tote with my local library's name on it. I read. That's pretty un-Republican. I don't know where they have this notion that Republicans don't read, or can't read. And someone replied to that and said, you're so right. The library does scream Democrat. The Republicans I know have money and just buy their books from Barnes and Noble. But yeah, other people were just calling her out saying, since when do purses have political affiliation? Someone else said, just get whatever you think is cute and fits your needs. Who cares what something looks like? A bag being a bag or a bag being political is wild. It's just a bag. Totally agree. Because there were people in the comments saying, do you want to pull up a photo of a Louis Vuitton never full bag? Never full, as in like you could, you know, it's a big tote bag. Why this would scream one way or the other, I have no idea. I didn't think that they were Republican. I think they're kind of like going, I mean, as classic as Louis Vuitton bags are, I guess. Like, I think that this is kind of out of style. So if anything, I think it's just out of style. Maybe she thinks that Republicans don't have style. I don't know. But this is insane. I mean, this is the bag that she's saying, I can't carry this because people will think I'm Republican. But then people were giving her other like designer bag options. So it's not even a money thing. I mean, this woman is clearly out of her damn mind. Because I don't know if we're politicizing bags and clothes and all this stuff. I mean, again, this is why I'm anti-cancel culture and I'm anti-boycott, because there aren't a lot of, Republican clothing brands. So unless you're getting like a MAGA shirt or something, I mean, a lot of brands are Democrat. I don't know. I just don't care.
That's a $2,300 bag.
What?
That's a $2,300 bag. So it seems like the Republican thing to do might be like just find something
in your price range.
Good on Amazon and go the fiscal route. What do you think?
I don't know. The whole thing is just wild. I mean, if you're gonna make everything political, everything that you wear has to be Democrat, everything that you do has to be, I mean, it's just exhausting. I mean, this kind of mentality has to be exhausting. There's also an ongoing online battle between Americans and people living in the UK about who's better. It just stems from jokes about the Revolutionary War and how we beat them. And, you know, it's just like fun, poking fun. And we usually make fun of them, people in the UK, for their makeup, their music, and they make fun of us for gun violence because that's like the only thing that they can get us on, I guess. But this guy points out a very embarrassing statistic. So watch this.
More than 3 times as many Europeans die of heat stroke than Americans do of gun violence. And you guys think you don't have to drink water. Oh, you Americans with your air conditioning, and it's not that bad. More than 3 times as many of you fuckers die from the heat at a latitude equivalent to Canada than we do from guns. And we don't hear the end of it from you freaks.
All I know is today they'd
point.
be dropping dead walking to my mailbox because it was muggy
Oh,
down
they
here
would
today.
not last a
No,
day.
I mean, like, done.
They would not last a day in Florida. I think the heat index said today felt like 109.
Brutal.
112, something like that. So, yeah. I think this calls for an eagle screech. And on that note, Thank you for scrolling along with me. If you want to watch, you got to do it on Rumble, rumble.com/Hayley's, where you can join us in the chat. Of course, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your shows. I appreciate you watching however and wherever. So tell a friend, leave a 5-star review. All the things make me happy. So thank you, and I will see you right back here tomorrow.